This is Carl Blythe. I want to give you a little bit of narration of what's going to happen here. This is an actual text activity, social reading activity. And basically, what she's just given us our assignment, and I was in the chat room at the time. We're reading through the text and we're about to comment to each other. The whole point of digital social reading is to talk about a text to each other, to other people in the room, in the chat room. So I was the first to start off, and I mentioned, oh, this is about reported speech, and Sybil uses an emoticon. So already you see the social dimension coming out. It's not just talking about the text, but talking to each other about the text. Digital social reading, one of the great things is you see that it has a permanent record of the discussion. You can go back and look at that record and pull different patterns out of the record and talk about who thinks about what. It's not at all a linear conversation, and that ideas begin to develop and take on a life of their own and go in different directions. There's this kind of constant back and forth. So you see Jeff just posted something, and then Simon answers, "What is humor and sarcasm?" So already somebody prompts a further discussion by asking a question in the classroom. Typically, it starts out very general. Notice that the first couple prompts or comments were about their larger interpretation of the text, and then we start to become more and more specific. So let's see, this, what Osana just wrote, the student definitely shows an understanding of what the professor explained, plus uses irony. And you see that she's using these emoticons. A lot of the commentary around the text is highly affective. People they don't only talk about the text, they also talk about themselves and their feelings about the text. And that's something that really comes out through digital social reading. One of the things that you can use is, of course, this layering of meaning. So people now are talking here about MIT and the relevance of these different parts of the text. And you can then go back and, as teachers, use that in your further discussion about these so-called rich points. The rich points, there are different kinds of rich points. As I said, they can be the affect, so surprise, annoyance, curiosity. Let's see, what are people saying? Yeah, now it's really starting to heat up. People are talking about something very specific like MIT, which is at the very beginning of the text. So we started off very generally about what it means, and now we're talking about the various elements in the text. What you find is also there's what a big fancy word for this is metacognition. People start to talk about how they understand the text as it starts to go on through this discussion, and they ask each other these different kinds of questions that can be very metalinguistic, like what is the grammar, what is the vocabulary, what's this textual structure I don't understand. One of the great things about a social reading is that you can kind of take the text and divide it and conquer it, because people are playing different roles then and helping each other out to understand the general meaning of the text. So here Osana answers and says, it's a valid point that Mark Lewis says, where's Noam Chomsky? So we've gone from a professor to MIT to a very specific Noam Chomsky. And I think that was exactly what I had in my mind, and I felt very validated at that point. Exactly, I write. Okay, so that gives you a bit of an understanding of all the different kinds of things that are going on, but primarily the social dimension changes interpretation. It makes it collaborative. It makes it a lot more fun.